Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Monday night Zoom edition. And we've had mostly a green day with Bitcoin, Ethereum pumping up and bringing up the altcoins, so that's good. We had some turmoil on Friday, probably due to the new COVID variant. And then over the weekend, we found out maybe not as bad as we thought. So the market started taking off again. I'm still incredibly annoyed that Bitcoin and the altcoins tend to be so closely associated with the stock market. But the reality is investors who see turmoil like that in the news are going to run to cash when they feel uncertain. And that's what happened. That's how we lost 10% on Bitcoin. But to go over that in more detail, let's go to the chart. All right, you guys should be seeing my, let's go to the 4-hour Bitcoin chart.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so here's what I was talking about. On Friday the 26th, we had this big drop in Bitcoin. We lost about 10%. And so that dragged down all the altcoins as it usually does. Kind of went sideways after that and then shot up on Sunday, went some more sideways, shot up again today, was flirting with 59K and then dropped the last couple hours. So let's go to the 1 hour. Yeah, but I'm pleased to see this this level hold. A lot of the people that I follow were talking about a dip down to 53 to 55, and that's what we had. You know, it held right around 53.5. Touched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, give or take, in this time frame here, and then took off again. So I don't know if it'll come down here and test this area again. I'm inclined to think not, but you know, short of some kind of startling news event, hopefully we're good to go. I do think we're going to have some resistance here at between 59 and 60. That was support for a while, but now it looks like resistance. So we had a few touches here back on the 25th. I think that was Thanksgiving. And it couldn't push through and then took that drop on the news. So I think I do think we're heading up. Wouldn't surprise me if we tested this, you know, 56 to 55 area first and then bounced off that. Everyone has an opinion. We'll see if that one holds up. Let's take a look at the Ethereum. It's kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, it did the same thing, took a big dump. Dropped about 14% in the same time frame that I just talked about. Went sideways, moving up nicely now. And hopefully with this one will hit 5K by the end of the year. Not sure if that'll hold up or not. People still using Ethereum-based blockchains, so there's still demand, even though it's so gosh darn expensive. All right, well, that's the overall view of the market. Any questions on Bitcoin or Ethereum or any news items or anything like that that we need to know about? All righty, then I will go over to Altcoin Alert. And usually we talk about the Altcoin Alert AA scores first. But we had a very interesting Tuesday afternoon meeting where Josh Frank, you know, I think the co-founder of the TIE, who's our liaison, that's the information source for Altcoin Alert, talked about a sort he was doing and seeing great results with, and that's sorting by the long-term sentiment. We can sort by any of these columns here. And for those of you who are new, I'm on the altcoin radar, not the dashboard. You know, usually defaults to the dashboard, but And I think this is the default view that most of you see, but I want all the information. So I'm turning easy mode off. I'm going to Altcoin Radar, and I want all this information. I want to sort by any of these columns that I want to sort on. And the long-term sentiment is what Josh was talking about. He said if you buy a very bullish coin right around midnight UTC, and currently we just passed midnight UTC, then you can usually get a pretty good trade. And I've done this 4 times in a row since that meeting. I did it on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All trades 3% or higher. Plus I was on leverage, so I got 10x on those. So those were great. I did one last night too, and that one has not panned out yet. That's in CHR, Chromium. And then this is the one I'm interested in now, is Uniswap. It's showing very bullish on the long-term sentiment. And that's really what I'm mostly concerned with. And then I want to know how is it done today? It hasn't had a huge move today. So like this RSR is already over 20%. This FX is already over 40%. To the point where it's very bearish now on the AA score. AA thinks it's played out. So Uni still has some room to move. It generally doesn't move as much as these other tokens anyway, but I think it's worth a look. So I've got the Uni chart up, and this is the 5-minute. Let's get the big picture on the day chart. So it has been, in May, like a lot of the coins were, hit at or near an all-time high in the 40s. Dropped down, reclaimed some of that up to 30. Seems to be having some resistance between 30 and 32. On the hour, it's a big drop that we had on Friday. It's been coming up, and then trending up at the moment. On the 5-minute chart, where do we get in? I put an alert here because I saw some short-term support right around $20. So my alert's here at 20.10. If by the end of this program it's still trending up, I'll probably delete this and just buy it up here and try to get that that 3% by this time tomorrow. But I would prefer obviously to catch it lower down here, as that would be my plan A. Another good entry point would be down here where this support is, right around 1978, 1980. And then there's a little bit more support down here around 1960. So those would be my entry points. I'm gonna keep an eye on this for a while to see if it what it does, and then I'll probably get in it sometime tonight. Not financial advice, but this is one I'm looking at. So that's the long-term sentiment sort. I mean, you could also try out some of these others. Flow, I'm not that familiar with. I've heard of it, but haven't traded it before. RSR, I've traded a few times. FX, Cody, these are some additional coins you might want to check out. But I think FX and Cody and RSR are probably too high now. Cody's interesting, right around 12%. Might have some room to move. Again, I'm only looking for 2 or 3% on these, as I am on a lot of the altcoin alert trades. Just trying to build that balance. So any questions on the long-term sentiment sort before I go to the AA scores?
Yeah, hey CJ, it's Andre here. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine, Andre.
Yeah, great. I think I was on that call when Josh was talking about it. Was it like long-term? I think to me is a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Not a 24-hour type of signal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you hover over here on this question mark, it'll explain what it is.
Oh.
And it's just really comparing, the other sentiment score that we have, which is a shorter term one. The long term is 24 hours compared to 20 days. The short term is compared, 24 hours to 1 hour. So.
Right. Yeah, I totally missed the tip on UTC midnight. So that's important to know.
Yeah, that's 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which is where I am now. So,
Yeah.
function accordingly on that and
Okay.
check it out. I put an alert on my Google Tasks, a daily alert to check it out. So that's how I do it.
That's helpful. Thanks.
You're welcome. I have no problem passing along things that other people come up with if they're successful. So maybe I can figure out how to take credit for this somehow, but other than the Google tasks suggestion, I got nothing. It was Josh's idea. So, all right, let's go to the.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead, Edward.
Yeah. So how are you choosing your exit point off of that? I mean, I understand your entry, but how are you choosing your exit?
Excellent question. Let's go to the uni chart and check it out. All right, so had I bought it, let's say I bought it where I wanted to on this this dip at 20.1. I'm seeing some resistance right here with this cluster of candles, right around $20.40, between 40 and 50 cents. So in that scenario, I might buy here. And then maybe if I'm on leverage, 1.5% times 10x is, that's 15% trade. I love that. So I'd be interested in that. If I'm on spot, or if I'm feeling that it's got more potential, I'll go to a larger time frame and look for another resistance. Not really seeing any on the 15-minute. Go to the 1 hour. Okay, I'm seeing some resistance here that we had before the drop on Friday, on Thanksgiving Day. Uni was trading at say 2150. So from where we are now, to that resistance, now we're looking at about 5%. Probably go a little bit below, between 4 and 5%. So I like dips and retraces. I mean, there's lots of things you can do to figure out where you want to get out. But the process I just showed you is what I use. I want to go get out where it's been before. And if I determine that's my plan and it works out, I'm happy about that. I don't care if it keeps going on beyond that. So many traders get hung up on that. If you have a plan, you execute the plan and it works, feel good about it. Take your wins, enjoy them. Don't beat yourself up if it goes beyond it. So
yeah, especially at 10 times.
Yeah. So, as a day trader, I'm looking for small profits anyway. I'm not trying to get, 10, 20, 30% on the chart. So that's how I do it. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, that answers my question. I have one other question, but maybe I'll talk to you after you're done with this.
If it's within the scope of things we're talking about, day trading and Altcoin Alert, we can talk about it here. If it's outside that scope, then, email me, we'll set something up.
I'm looking for more information concerning doing 10 times.
Okay, so you're interested in leverage trading then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend that until you've really nailed down spot trading. How long have you been spot trading?
About 8 months.
Okay, that's about longer. That's about,
Longer than me.
Yeah, it's about around 9 months to a year. So, all right, let's go ahead and email me or hang around after. Actually, there is a program that a lot of us are in that does leverage trading automatically, and we'll talk about that after the show if you want to hang around for that.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on Altcoin Alert and the long-term sentiment? All right, I will go to the AA score now. All right. So I just sorted by the AA score. We've only got one over 80 at the moment. That's Loopring LRC. Actually, just answered somebody's question in the or addressed somebody's question in the in the Slack group about this. He was frustrated because he'd buy LRC and it would take a drop every time. And that does happen frequently with the AA scores because it's trying to determine what's due for a comeback. It's trying to predict the future. And what the AA score is telling us with this score here is that loop ring has an 81.6% chance to get a 3% or more profit in the next 72 hours. So with that in mind, I'm not going to just jump in and buy it anywhere. I'm going to try to look at it and see where a good entry point is. So I think that one's on my list. So let's get the big picture like I just did with Uni. It's the day chart on loop ring. I'm on Bybit. I should be on a different list. Yeah. Bybit's a leverage trading platform primarily. All right, don't have it on my list. Go to the Binance platform. The day chart, it's been as high as 90s. It's actually blasted beyond where its prior high was back over the spring. And a couple of weeks ago, it was up over 380 down to about 280 now. So this is the kind of retracement I'm looking for in the big picture. Go to the 1 hour chart to get a closer view. Again, kind of like Uni. It was up to about 350 last week, down to 287 now. So if I get into loop ring, this is starting to go into a dip sequence. We've got the squeeze and the bubble. Most of you here are familiar with the 1, 2, 3 dip training. I sent you a link to it through email. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It looks like we're going into such a sequence for loop ring at the moment. Got a big dip here, one. Don't really have a second dip yet. One could say that this is a second dip, even though it's a red candle going through the bottom of the Bollinger Band and a green candle dropping below. Doesn't really matter what color the candles are. So 1, 2, and I'd wait for a third dip or a MACD cross. This blue line to cross over this orange one before I get in, and that would hopefully make the probability of a successful trade more likely, as opposed to just jumping in whenever I see that a coin is over 80 on the AA score. So you still want to use a little bit of technical analysis to get a good entry point. We do have some short-term support here right around 286. I mean, we're almost there now. So I think between, say, 286 and maybe 284 in the low 280s would be a good entry point for LRC if you want to make that trade. I'm not thrilled about the AA score. It's in the low 80s. I usually like, the high 80s or above, but we don't have one like that right now. And the rest of these are below 80. I don't usually look at those that are below 80.
Let's look at sand, because we've seen sand do no, I'm sorry, back on the Altcoin Alert page. It was like 70 something, 77. There you go.
Yeah.
And so many people have been trading sand, and it just keeps flying all over the place because it's a metaverse coin.
Yeah, it's crazy volatile. So
yeah. Anyway,
right.
so now let's look.
We'll check on it in a moment. Any questions on LRC before I move over to sand? I thought that was on my list. All right, day chart. Big pumping this month, all the way up to 850 just before Thanksgiving, dropped down to 590. Now we're back up. We were up to 790 earlier today, now down to right around $7. On the 1 hour, Got some support around here, around 580, 590. Not bad. The 5 minute, what do we do with this? Starting to bubble. Getting a couple dips. We punched through the SMA line here, so that negates this dip sequence. Technically on the 1, 2, 3 dip, so it might start another one. Yeah, we're in a little bit of bad luck now. Is that some of these just starting a dip sequence? We don't know if they're going to play out or not. You know, on the show, it's fun to actually take trades on here, but it hardly ever happens. You hear me say the same old things over and over again. You know, set your alerts. You know, look for those good entry points. But yeah, we've got some support right here around 695, kind of like that. 699 now. That's probably where I'd want to get in if I want to get in on sand. But just know I probably go maybe half my usual amount because this one's so volatile that you know, we talked before about ladder buying, where you buy in at a second or even a third purchase if it goes against you, so that averages out to a better overall exit point. So that's how I would approach that one. And
your exit would be?
Let's say I got it, say down here around 680. Couple options. You know, the SMA line's 4%. It would be trending down a little bit, so probably be right around here, 4%. Then quite a bit of resistance here. You know, around 720, 722, or 5 to 6%. Got another clump of candles around here, say around 740, 750. So obviously the higher you go, the more risky it is. I frequently look at 3 options and choose the middle one.
Okay.
I might try to catch this to 722. I mean, it's, you know, early evening here. Do that, set up an alert to let me know if it goes beyond, say, 6 to 10%, if I have to ladder buy at that point. And then if it doesn't sell overnight, by tomorrow morning, I'd probably look at it and reevaluate, most likely bring down my my target price, maybe down to this level here.
So does it ever help to
Or
look
here,
at
sorry.
something different than the 5 minute, a 3 minute, a 1 minute? Does it?
Yeah, I was trading on the 3 minute today on another
Really?
strategy. So
And why?
because I didn't like what I was seeing in the 5 minute strategy, and I tinkered with it. It was originally on YouTube as a 1 minute strategy, and you know, I don't want to stare at my computer all day. I'm here enough as it is. So so in the 5 minute I didn't like it, the back test didn't work very well. And then the 3 minute worked pretty well, so I tried that, and it was, you know, 3 for 5 or something like that on a scalping strategy where I'm using stop losses. But that's, again, beyond what we're talking about here. But
Okay.
yeah, so I do occasionally go to below the 5, but that's my favorite. As far as an entry point, you know, I like to enter my trades on the 5 minute chart. I would frequently use other time frames like I just showed you, the day, the 1 hour, you know, sometimes 8 hour, 4 hour as well. But on day trading, it's the day, the 1 hour, and the 5 minute 98% of the time. So
Okay.
all right.
Say, CJ, this is Oliver.
Welcome, Oliver.
Hey, you know, my technical analysis skills are still improving quite a bit. And someone we both follow talked about this last week. And I've seen this pattern a lot in the last few days. Looking at sand, go back to the 27th of November, around 10 o'clock Chicago time. That'd been about 8 o'clock your time. You see how the red candle closed outside the Bollinger line. And you also see how the money flow index dipped. And then it just started climbing after that. And I've seen that pattern quite a bit.
All right, so we're on the 27th, 8 o'clock my time.
Mhm.
It's right here. And then we got a red candle, and then it punches up here.
But what I noticed is when the money flow index is peaking high and the Bollinger line is closing above the Bollinger line, I'm always seeing a dip. I'm almost all the time, not every time, but a lot. And then I'm seeing pumping when it closes under the Bollinger line with the money flow index down.
Yes, you just described the main strategy of of one of the
So we both follow.
one of the bot strategies. Yes,
Yeah.
that we're both involved with. But again, outside the scope of the show. But yeah,
I just thought I'd
that's
point that out. I find that very interesting.
it
I've seen
is,
a lot.
and it's sort of it's a little easier to identify than a 1, 2, 3 dip. So I've been using that as well. Though I think the 1, 2, 3 dip is an excellent dip strategy to learn to get started. But what Oliver's talking about is something with a few more indicators. With the 1, 2, 3 dip, you can just look at the candle action where we're relying on what Oliver's talking about is both the candle action and the money flow index here. And so when this is down and the Bollinger, or when the candle closes below the Bollinger Band, it tends to shoot up. Here's an example of it here. And then here's a smaller example here. So that's something you might want to add to your charts. Is this MFI? It's free through through
You got to look at the 29th, right around midnight. You see how it closed above the Bollinger line. The money flow index was pretty high at that point. And now all of a sudden it started dipping again.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just find that fascinating.
Yeah. So I have traded before, setting alerts on the MFI, and just whenever it went out of this this range, it would alert me. It was kind of tedious because it kept going off, but might be better under like a 15-minute time frame. You won't have as many alerts, and it'll be stronger. So but I do like the MFI. It's one of the tools I use. I probably use it more than the RSI now. So I definitely use it more than the MACD. All right. Any more questions on sand before we see? We're at about a half hour now. We should probably move over to, we'll do one more thing in Altcoin Alert. That's where most of you folks are from. So all right, we've looked at an AA score. We did the long-term sentiment sort. You can do other sorts as well. We also like to do a social activity sort, because that'll sometimes or frequently bring up a very bullish long-term sentiment and then a bullish elder impulse daily. The elder impulse, it's a technical indicator that combines trends and momentum and things like that. So when you get very bullish on the long-term sentiment, as we know, and then bullish on the elder impulse, that can be a good combination. Unfortunately, the only one right now is this RSR, which is, well, it's up 20%. Yeah, let's check that out. I was thinking it was up 40%, but that's this one, FX. So let's look at RSR. And see if we have a trade here. All right, we go to the day to get to the big picture. Big pump back in May or April, up to 11 cents. Big drop, got back up to about 6 cents. Dropped again. Now it's 5.2 cents. So we know it has retracement range to at least there. Has been pumping today, as we know. We're up 20%. Whoa, I'm on the 1 hour. So it's been pumping since about the last 2 days. Dip here, pump. Might be too late on this one.
Or we can short it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if RSR is on any of the leverage It might be. I think it's on Binance. I don't know if it's on Bybit or Femex. Well, it's one way to find out. Bittrex, Binance. Yeah, I don't see it on. Yeah, I don't see it as shortable. So if that's the case, we want to catch it on a dip. Got support, short-term support here, right around 5 cents. It's probably where we want to catch it. And if so, SMA line be 4%. The support here, 7%. I mean, resistance here, 7%. And more current resistance here, 9%. So yeah, I don't like buying with all this red candle action on a long, and it's sitting right on the SMA line, which is my least favorite place to buy. So this is undecided usually when it's choppy like this, but this is just trending down. So I wouldn't buy it at this moment. I would wait for a better entry down here around 5 cents. All right, any questions on RSR? All right, anything else on Altcoin Alert? We're going to move over to iCoinPro. All right. Most of you should have received an email from me about iCoinPro. I actually have permission from the CryptNation and Altcoin Alert people to share this. This is an excellent way to learn how to day trade. It's very conservative. They talk about getting 1% and 2% and building your balance slowly. A very conservative approach. It teaches a 1, 2, 3 dip. Teaches squeeze trades. It teaches ladder buying. These are all techniques I still use, and I learned this over 2 years ago. So it has that training available. It also has a chat group, and like we have Slack, it's got a chat group through the site, and then it's got these other tools to actually locate trades, which I think sets it apart from some other information sources. A lot of companies provide training, but actually tools to find trades is another matter entirely. So it's got two that I like a lot. It's the RSI Spy and the Buddy Coin Crawler. I've got the RSI Spy up now. And what this does is it lets me know the RSI, the relative strength index. It's a pretty common indicator. The 1 hour, if it's 30 or below, it's usually due for a retrace. Like Oliver and I talked about with the MFI. The RSI will also show you that kind of information at 30 and below. We've only got one below 30, and it's a Bitcoin pair. I don't trade those very often. Got some in the low 30s, this REQ. Yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. It's on Binance. We have a drop-down menu here. It'll connect directly to your trading view and show you a chart. All right, so here we are on REQ. Let's go to the day, get the big picture. It's listed on Binance back in August 20th and had a big spike 25th. Pretty big crash after that. Went as high as $1.08. Now it's down below 50 cents. Okay, 1 hour chart. Got that same resistance that we talked about, and down to 48 cents now. So we have a big range to potentially retrace to. The 5 minute, a little concerned that we have this cascading downward action. It's all lower highs and lower lows. Got a little bit of relief here this afternoon. We were down. We're down to 48 cents, up to almost 51, and then back down to 48 again. So this is a short-term resistance right here. If you want to buy it at the moment, get back up there at 4%. Some more resistance here around 7%. Some more here at around 10%. And then finally up here around 12.5%. So has a significant retrace potential, but this trend down concerns me. If I'd probably try to get it down here, maybe on the bottom of the Bollinger Band, around 47.9 cents, and ride it back up. Since it's trending down this hard, I'd probably go in with half my usual amount just to be safe, be ready to ladder buy if necessary. If it drops, say 6 to 10%, that's usually where I want to ladder buy the first time. And then the same distance the second time if necessary. So any questions on REQ? And let's go over to the other tool I like is Buddy Coin Crawler. All right, so this is my favorite sort, the average low to the SMA. The average low is the 24-hour, the price in the last 24 hours. And the SMA line's that pink line between the Bollinger Bands you've seen on my charts. Looking for 5% or better. Usually indicates coins that have room to move. And we got several here over 5%, but almost none that I've heard of. Coinbase is listing a lot of new stuff lately. Centrifuge I've traded before, but this is the wrapped version, the ERC20 token, 10.55%. It's really low volume though, so I'm not looking for volume. Probably 10 million or above. This one, DDX, I don't know anything about it, but it's got pretty good volume. Looked at it earlier. Let's check it out. Got my drop down trading view chart. Look at the day. Listed in September. Big drop. Came back pretty big yesterday. All the way up to $14. Drop, lost half of that. Wow. All right, goodbye to Cheryl. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so that's the day, the 1 hour. Yeah, it was flatlining until yesterday. Day before it started to go up. That's really violent, really volatile. All right, if I'm going to evaluate this as any other token, I'm seeing support down here around just below 7 cents, 690, 688. That's probably my goal to get in. Bottom of the Bollinger Band, 688. I'm not really seeing a big bubble. I mean, it's dipping, but I want to see a bubble like this when it's dipping. I'm not seeing that. So I'd probably put an alert down here. And if I catch it, shoot, just to the SMA lines, 11%. That's nuts. And then up here to this resistance here is 20%. So getting a casino vibe from this one, but yeah, I go in small and maybe try to get a big return, double digits. So I kind of like, the cowboy in me kind of likes this one, but I do some research on it too to find out what it is in case I get stuck in it. But anyway, very interesting. But we've got 4 straight, small red candles here. I wouldn't want to get in right this minute. I'm trying to get in down here, below $7. All right, any questions on DDX? Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll look at one more Buddy Coin Crawler, see if there's something we've heard of. There's a few. Voyager. They have small volumes. Now we're below 5%. Clover, I have heard of. But again, the volume on the USDT token is very small. Let's look at, this one's close enough. Let's look at this one, ACLX. I've traded this before, maybe once. Okay, day chart. Pretty recent listing on Coinbase. In this situation, I don't have a lot of data to work with, so I want to see if it's been on another exchange with more history. Gemini and OKX are older exchanges. Yeah, see on Gemini, it's back to June. So let's use this chart. It's been earlier this month, it hit 588 down to 390 now. It's a pretty expensive token. On the 1 hour, up to 400 down to 390. Volume's not very good, but when I see this and I'm on a smaller exchange, I'll then go ahead and go back to where I was to begin with. Coinbase is going to have a lot more volume. So it's at 389.50 now. And trending up. And doesn't dip below the SMA line too much. So I might set an alert right about here, see if it bounces off. Or keep an eye on it, see if I get more candle action going up. See if I can recover from where it was over the weekend up to 404. It's about 3%, not bad. I think other examples we've looked at, excuse me, are better than this. But yeah, you could probably catch a quick 3-4% on this one if you catch this this trend just right. All right, any questions on ALCX or anything with iCoinPro or Altcoin Alert? All right, then I will throw this open to anything crypto you guys want to talk about in the realm of day trading, swing trading, anything like that. No one's going to speak up. So let's see if Robert was on here. He gave me both Robert and George gave me some tips. I wanted to thank them for it, but they are not here. All right, well then I'll go ahead and end the recording here, and I'll hang around if anybody else wants to talk about other matters in crypto. See you next time.